A year after GM announced they were closing their Lordstown assembly plant, the automaker announcing today they will be bringing back 1,100 jobs.
Yeah, they won't be making cars, but batteries for electric vehicles. It's all part of a joint $2.3 billion investment with LG Chem. News 5's John Kosick joins us. And John, leaders like this.
Yeah, it's essentially making the best out of a bad situation. When GM announced that they were going to close the Lordstown assembly plant last year, the state leaders stepped in and wanted to know, could you put another line in? When the automaker made it clear that wasn't going to happen, they began working together to see what then could replace the jobs. This was the result. Construction will begin next year on the new electric vehicle battery plant on vacant land near GM's old Lordstown assembly plant. GM and LG Chem committing to invest $2.3 billion into the facility. GM CEO Mary Barra calling the announcement groundbreaking.
I absolutely believe we'll look back on it as seeing it being a very critical point with LG Chem and General Motors working together to create an all-electric future.
With GM's commitment to build 20 different types of electric vehicles by 2023, the plant will be busy. Still, Senator Sherrod Brown says he would have much rather have had production of one of those vehicles.
A whole lot of people have left Youngstown and gone somewhere else to either work for GM or to work somewhere else. And it's unfortunate that it took GM this long to announce that. And it's still short of what it ought to be, but I appreciate what they're doing and the jobs that brings to Mahoning Valley.
Still, Congressman Tim Ryan calls it the most significant investment in the Mahoning Valley in decades, with the potential to position the region as an electric vehicle hub.
For a long time, you know, our community, we were chasing smokestacks. We were chasing things that were on the decline. These industries are going to boom over the next couple of decades.
But the next generation jobs will come with next generation wages that are lower than what the Lordstown assembly line workers were making. As for whether they'll be part of the UAW, Barra said as a new company, that will be the call of the new employees. And while they will be in the same electric vehicle line as the company taking over the old Lordstown assembly plant, there will be no connection.
Not to say there couldn't be something in the future as it relates to component supply or something, but right now they have their own plan with their own supply base.
Well, the governor's office and Jobs Ohio playing a major role in helping to make this deal happen. Neither side, though, offering details of exactly what was offered. John Kosick, News 5.
I'm Jordan Vandenberg in Lordstown, Ohio, and for this small village in Trumbull County, it has been a wild 9 months or so. The final Chevy crews rolled off the line here at the GM complex back in March. Construction has started on the new Home Goods and TJ Maxx distribution center right across the street. A new venture is moving into the former GM plant, and then today it was announced that GM and LG have a new venture that could create 1,100 jobs.
You got to have an iron gut to be able to get through this.
In the village of Lordstown, the good news travels just as fast as the bad, and eventually it makes its way to Earl Ross's pub.
When the negative stuff hits that plant, it affects me immediately, and then it trickles down to everybody else like a slow-moving mudslide. But it's the same thing whenever positive things happen.
On this day, Mayor Arno Hill couldn't help but stop at the local watering hole.
We have one pub grill in town, and this is it.
To share the news. Months after leaving, GM is coming back, this time with Korea-based LG as part of a joint venture building batteries for future electric vehicles.
Inside, I'm smiling. Outside, I'm smiling. You know, I think this is it's a good announcement. We just got to follow through.
I'm gonna sleep a little better, probably tonight than I did last night. And I've been sleeping a little better since I've meeting these guys from Lordstown Motors. Seems like there's a promising crew there, too.
The electric vehicle battery plant that GM and LG announced comes as another new venture. Lordstown Motors announced plans to move into the former GM plant. Although at least a year away, both projects have convinced Ross to stay.
I'm more optimistic these days.
Just as he's done for the past 22 years.
For me to have thought that that big plant wasn't going to just sit empty for the rest of my life, I was almost, I would have been a fool to think that that couldn't have happened, because my whole life I had to drive by empty steel mills just to get here.
When things were good, we did put some money away. Hopefully, before that money drops out, we'll have enough businesses to help pick up the slack, and we can continue to provide all the services we always have.
There is no replacing the entire GM complex. There's no denying it. But the wound has been cauterized. For a community that has had its share of bad news, it's about time for some good.
I got my mashed potatoes. I'm looking for some gravy. Yeah, that's for sure.
GM could break ground on this new facility in the middle part of next year. No site has been selected yet. Reporting in Lordstown, Jordan Vandenberg, News 5.